it seems I don't get one day to rest, do I? Because today, Jinshi leaks started coming out. And as I'm very excited about Jinshi personally, I'm going to be taking you through the Jinshi leaks, and then we can see if she's good or not. Starting with her role and her element. So Jinshi is a Spectro Broadblade user who is going to be a main DPS focused around stacking up her skill and then doing a nuke. Her basic attacks are just basic. There's nothing to be seen here, and you're not going to use these. And then we get to her skill. Her skill normally is going to be a dash forward that does a couple of ticks of damage. But nothing crazy. It becomes crazy when you use it after your basic attack 4 or your intro skill, because then you're going to cast a different kind of skill. And when you cast that different skill, Jinshi will be sent into Incarnation. Now, we're going to dive more into Incarnation when we get to her Forte circuit. Her Resonance Liberation is just going to be a nuke. It's just a big hit of damage. It is also very expensive and has a long-ass cooldown, so have fun with that. But now we get to her Forte circuit, and oh boy is this a long one. So, first, remember that special state that her skill puts her in? This is called Incarnation. When you're in Incarnation, essentially, all of your attacks are transformed, and it can be cast in midair. Your basic attack becomes a 4-hit string, and then your skill becomes a different kind of skill, and your heavy attack becomes a different heavy attack, your dodge becomes a different dodge, all that stuff. But this is just gonna be like a regular basic attack, because, well, you're not gonna use the regular basic attack, so you might as well consider this your basic attack. She'll obviously get a new skill, but after the stage 4 of the enhanced basic attack, you will leave the Incarnation mode, and then Jinshi gains another state, which is Ordination Glow. And then while you have Ordination Glow, your basic attack is replaced with the special heavy attack, and you have a different skill. Now, this different skill is going to send out a hit of damage, and then it's going to detonate and do even more damage after a short delay. And this damage with the short delay has a stack function, which we are going to get more into later. But it is going to essentially add to the multiplier. After casting this special skill, Jinshi gains an effect that allows her to use her outro skill for free. So this means that it does not require any Concerto energy to cast. This is very cool if you ask me, and it essentially wants you to split her rotation in half, which sounds pretty interesting to me. And then we get to the stacking function. She can stack up to 40 incandescents, and while she is on the team, all nearby characters will gain an effect that will give Jinshi 1 stack of incandescents every time they do damage for up to 1 incandescence every 3 seconds. This is lowered to 1 second by Jinshi's outro skill, so that outro skill is going to be incredibly important for stacking up your incandescents. So, man, that was a mouthful. But what we get from that is essentially she has a special state in which she does 4 basic attacks, after which she is able to do a skill which is a big nuke, which is based on stacks that she gets from having teammates do damage. Now, the cooldown for incandescent stacking is not based on the character that's stacking it, but rather the element. This means that Jinshi promotes multi-element playstyles, which I find pretty interesting, but this is also going to be an issue. Her inherent skills are pretty boring, as the first one just gives her 20% Spectre damage, and then the other one gives 50% damage to her intro skill. So, nothing interesting here. So, at the end of the day, her Forte circuit is going to be where essentially all of her damage lies. And then her ultimate skill and intro skill are just on the sidelines, but her ultimate is still very powerful, so definitely level that if you ask me. If you've been enjoying the video, be sure to like and subscribe to the video, and maybe even leave a comment. I am going to be covering Wuthering Waves and Genshin Impact. If you want to see more of me, be sure to join my Discord and follow me on Twitter. Now, proceeding to Jinshi's biggest issue if you ask me, which is her team building. So, Jinshi wants multiple elements, and she wants coordinated attacks. the biggest character I can see her working with is going to be Yinlin because of that. Now, Yinlin has a very frequently proccing coordinated attack and is also a different element than Jinshi, which is very good. But then, in the last slot, we start to struggle. Because we kind of want to put Verena or Baiji here, but Verena is Spectro. Now, Verena being Spectro means that even though she has a coordinated attack, Jinshi can't really profit 100% off of this, because while she is on field, you're essentially losing a lot of stacks, and that is going to ultimately hurt her damage output. So, if I wanted to fix Jinshi, what I would do is just release more characters that work well with her, because there's also a problem of characters like Jien have their signature supports, like Mortefi, that buff every single aspect of their kit. But then, Jinshi is stuck with Taochi, who is already famous for not being a good character. Now that I've complained about Jinshi's team building enough, let's talk about her signature weapon. Now, her signature weapon, first of all, I want to say it has a great design, but it has a base attack of 587 with 24.3% crit rate. It's going to give 12% damage bonus for all attributes, something we've seen in every limited 5-star weapon, and you are able to stack up an effect up to 4 times with your basic attacks, and when you are at 4 stacks and use your skill, you get 48% skill damage. Now, this seems pretty obviously tailored towards Jinshi, because, you know, she does majorly skill damage, and, well, this weapon gives a lot of skill damage. And now, let's go to her sequences. Her sequences are some of the best ones I've seen, and you'll see in a bit why. When Jinshi casts her basic attacks, she is going to get a stack, which stacks up to 4 times. And when you use your nuke skill, she's going to consume all of these stacks and increase the damage of the skill by 20% per stack, up to 80% skill damage. That is a lot of skill damage. And now for the sequence 2. She will instantly fully stack her skill when she's been off-field for more than 4 seconds. Oh my god. This essentially solves the entire issue with Verena, because, well, she just gets her stacks for free. So, yeah, that's nice. Sequence 3 gives her 12 incandescent stacks, and a stack of a new effect called Immortal's Ascendancy after casting her intro skill. And every stack of this is going to increase her attack by 25% for up to 2 stacks. So, essentially you're just getting 50% attack. That's all it really is. Her sequence 4, when you cast her ultimate or her nuke skill, all characters in the team gain their attribute damage bonus for 20%. So, this kind of makes characters like Yinlin better with her, but, you know, if you can afford to get a sequence 4 Jinshi, you'll probably be fine. Then for her sequence 5, her ultimate gets 120% extra multiplier. With how large the multiplier already is, I don't see this being super good. And then finally sequence 6, the damage multiplier of her super buff skill is increased by 45%, and then it is increased by 71% for every stack of incandescence. Now, this is a ridiculous sequence, because, for reference, at level 10, it's 26.84%. So you are essentially more than quadrupling the amount of damage you get per stack. Yeah, that's kinda stupid. But what do you think of Jinshi so far? I think she definitely has problems, but those can get fixed over time. And I think if they just buff her damage output, she is going to be good on launch. Her damage is already looking competitive with Jien, if you use her with Yinlin, but I would like her to be less reliant on a 5-star sub DPS to be good. But that's going to be all from me. Peace.